We welcome you to a snowy South Philadelphia. We are here at the NovaCare Complex. Our continuing coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles 2020 regular season continues indoors. Presented by DraftKings. Hello, everyone. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro, along with Fran Duffy. And yeah, we're getting ready for week 2 of the Jalen Hurts starting experience. Week 1, Fran, going so very well. The Eagles defeating the New Orleans Saints. Now, heading out to the West Coast to play the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. We're all excited about this, and certainly Jalen Hurts brought the juice against the Saints.
Yeah, and this was if you go back and just watch that game, it was a perfect game script for the Eagles, right? Because you had Jalen Hurts come out. He was efficient with the ball. The run game was working early. They did so many different things in the run game. That was one thing that really impressed me on film. And then, defensively, the defensive line was dominant. The Eagles were able to create turnovers. You get the Duke Riley interception in plus territory. That gets them a field goal. You get the long touchdown run from Miles Sanders. Now it's 17-0. And now you're playing with the lead. You feel good. You've got confidence. You're able to get into a flow running the football. That was the script that you want for the Eagles moving forward. Now, the question is, can that be sustained moving forward, going out to the desert to take on an explosive Arizona offense and a really feisty defense this week?
A lot of fun to watch. Number 2 on the field Sunday. Great mix of the running game. Eagles running for 246 yards. The passing game efficient. And as you say, Fran, it is interesting to see how the cat and mouse game goes with the Eagles' offensive structure and the Cardinals, of course, wanting to take away mobility and the Hurts' ability to get out of the pocket. He was excellent with his legs. No interceptions, no sacks. Terrific starting debut for rookie quarterback Jalen Hurts. Let's get you caught up here on some of the roster moves and some of the news around this football team on this Wednesday in South Philadelphia. Hello, everyone. If you're just joining us, Dave Spadaro along with Fran Duffy. It's our continuing coverage of this 2020 regular season. The Eagles 4-8-1. Our coverage presented by DraftKings. And a busy week again as the offensive line changes. Another starting combination on the way. Matt Pryor will play right tackle, with Jack Driscoll suffering an MCL sprain in his knee. The Eagles signing Ross Pierschenbacher. Okay, right?
He stuck the landing pretty well, yeah.
Former Alabama player, left guard there, moved to center his senior year. Was actually the center for Hurts in 2019 at Alabama. 5th-round draft pick of the Washington football team in 2019. Eagles plucking him off Washington's practice squad. So we will not see him this week, of course, because there's COVID restrictions, I guess. And I guess if you come from a practice squad, you gotta wait a couple days here.
Correct. I think he goes
all virtual meetings. And,
same thing as Joe Bocci last week when they plucked him off the Saints practice squad.
But the Eagles again, Fran, with Matt Pryor at right tackle. It is just amazing how this offensive line has just not been able to stay healthy. And there he is. Matt Pryor is going to have a handful against, I guess, Hassan Reddick, who had 5 sacks against the Giants in Arizona's 26-7 win on Sunday. How do you like that matchup?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because obviously when you have Matt Pryor, he is a large human being going up against an undersized pass rusher in Hassan Reddick, who, look, he got a lot of his sacks doing lots of different stunts and moving around and doing all kinds of things that the Eagles have had some issue with this season. I do question, Dave, whether or not they will use those kinds of stunts against a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, because if you're looping those defensive ends inside, well, now you're giving that quarterback the ability to escape laterally, which my guess, Arizona won't want Jalen Hurts to break the pocket. That would be my guess. I'll be interested to see how they try and attack Jalen in this game.
Yeah, this is the great matchup. The Eagles defense, of course, contending with Kyler Murray, and we heard all morning from Eagles defensive players the difference with Murray as opposed to Russell Wilson of Seattle, Lamar Jackson of Baltimore. While they are extraordinarily mobile and elusive and just great at creating space, Murray, the Heisman Trophy winner from Oklahoma, who preceded Hurts there, is a different category of quick. That's what I get out of it. And when the Cardinals went through that 3-game losing streak, the mush rush was really effective. Keep Murray in the pocket, make him win with his arm. Of course, the Eagles' secondary extremely challenged. No Avonte Maddox this week. We don't know about Darius Slay, who is in concussion protocol. Rodney McLeod put on injured reserve today. The Eagles promoting Elijah Riley from the practice squad. Fran, this is a very difficult matchup, and I wrote about him, Eagles cornerback Kevon Seymour, who had not played in a game since 2018. All of a sudden on Sunday found himself on the field, actually 2017, found himself on the field covering Michael Thomas. Long road. Please read that. It's a great story, as Kevon Seymour has come a long, long way to getting back on the football field. But a really tough matchup for the Eagles defense.
Yeah, I think when you look at Arizona, you look at the way that they want to play, it is going to be up-tempo. They're going to play fast. They're going to try and see if they can get these receivers out in the perimeter. It's a yards-after-catch based offense. So the challenge for the Eagles, they have got to tackle well, and that has been an issue for them this season. They have more missed tackles than anybody in the NFL, so they have got to make sure they get these receivers to the ground, whether it's the tight end, Dan Arnold, whether it's the receivers, obviously DeAndre Hopkins, but Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald and Andy Isabella. They've got playmakers across the field. They play more four-receiver sets than anybody in the NFL by a wide margin. So for a secondary that's got a lot of injuries, the depth is going to be tested here on Sunday afternoon.
And then a couple of other notes for you just to consider in case you've missed some of the news items. Jason Kelce, one of 8 NFL finalists for the very prestigious 2020 Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, and that's given to the player who best demonstrates the qualities of on-field sportsmanship, including fair play, respect for the game and opponents, and integrity in competition. The other finalists, Ravens defensive end Calais Campbell, Steelers defensive tackle Cameron Hayward, Colts defensive end Justin Houston, Patriots receiver Matthew Slater, Panthers quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, Buccaneers linebacker Levante David, 49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk.
Juszczyk.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, Juszczyk.
Juszczyk? I don't know. I don't pronounce his name. Anyway, we vote for we vote for Jason Kelce, who's been nothing but professional from the very moment he walked into the Eagles as a 6th-round draft pick out of the University of Cincinnati 2011. But, of course, the big story this week is Jalen Hurts, Fran. And I guess the question is, can you sustain 18 carries? Did he take too many hits last week? Now that you've got film on him, defenses are going to have an approach against him. I was actually surprised that the Saints allowed him to get outside the pocket. And so I was very interested to see how it all worked out.
There weren't a ton of plays where you drop back and said, "Oh, there's the quarterback spy. There's the way that they're trying to keep him in the pocket." Especially, there was that 2-minute drill at the end of the first half where, it was 2 straight plays. I think Jalen Hurts ran for a combined 37 yards on those plays, or 39 yards, something along those lines, where there was nobody in front of him. He took the green grass that was there, and that's a great job by Jalen. He was really decisive in the pocket. My guess is, especially with all the speed that Arizona has at the 2nd and 3rd level, they're going to be designating either the rookie Isaiah Simmons, the top 10 pick. Maybe it's Hassan Reddick sometimes. Maybe it's our friend Jordan Hicks. Any of those guys could be a spy against against Jalen Hurts at any given point. That'll be an interesting point here in this game because, whether it's the design quarterback runs, whether it's the option runs, or the scrambles, clearly his legs were a big part of the Eagles' offense on Sunday.
We are inside the bubble at the NovaCare Complex on this wintry Wednesday in South Philadelphia. Our coverage of the 2020 Philadelphia Eagles regular season continues, courtesy of DraftKings. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro along with Fran Duffy. And the Eagles back in the mix here in the NFC East. 4-8-1 record. Sounds crazy, but it's true. Eagles looking to keep their momentum going after that big win on Sunday against New Orleans. Heading out to Arizona where it won't be snowing, where it won't be wintry, and where the Eagles will play an Arizona Cardinals team that came back after a 3-game losing streak to beat the New York Giants 26-7 on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. The starter for week number 2 in the 2nd straight week here, Jalen Hurts, backed up there by Carson Wentz. Fran, no problems, of course. The Eagles saying that everything is going very smoothly with Carson, handling everything as a professional as we expect him to. But it certainly has to be challenging for Carson, who takes a step back here and turns over the offense to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and you were here Sunday. You were at Lincoln Financial Field for the game. You could see those guys on the sideline after every drive. Carson's over there helping him out through things. Hey, what did you see? What did the defense do? Here's what I saw from the sideline. So playing the role well, helping to support the rookie as he makes his first road start this coming week, but did a great job helping him out this past Sunday as well.
Eagles working on special teams here as we look at Cameron Johnston. It's interesting, a punting game in a bubble. Now, again, this bubble is, 70 yards long, 60 yards long, and you can't get the height on it. So kind of just going through a light kicking exercise here. It is important for Jake Elliott, who met the media this morning, talking about some of the chip shot misses he's had in the last few weeks. 3 misses, 2 extra points, and a 22-yard field goal. Elliott calling them embarrassing, vowed to work on them. But, Fran, I looked at the numbers. Those kicks really are the only difference from his 3 previous seasons and this season. He's missed a kick here and there, but it's just those easy little chip shots, really the 22-yarder and the 29-yarder against the New York Giants, to kind of separate him statistically from previous seasons.
Yeah, and even if you go back, I believe it was the Super Bowl year 2017, right? He had issues with extra points. I mean, so and he got out of it, and he's been one of the best kickers in the NFL. This is something that kickers go through at times. I've got faith. The coaches clearly have faith in him. I don't think we on the outside have a reason to have not have a lot of faith in him either.
But I certainly understand the concern, because we do see kickers kind of head south. Now, it would be great if Rudy Ford got back on the field. And I know that you guys don't know a whole lot about Rudy Ford, but he happens to be one of the greatest gunners that I have seen with this football team. Great speed, goes down there, closes it out, has been bothered by a hamstring injury of late, so he hasn't played, but it's good to see him back on the practice field. And we will have complete coverage of the injuries a little later on today, as the NFL requires teams in this instance to come after it. By the way, in 2017, Fran, to back up your point, 4 of 7 for Elliott from 30 to 39 yards.
There we go. Yep.
Otherwise, just really, really consistent, making in his previous 3 seasons 83.9% of his field goals, 83.9% of his field goals in year 2, and then last year 84.6% of his field goals. This year he's made 13 of 18 kicks, and that number needs to be better. Alshon Jeffrey, who had a big touchdown catch on Sunday against the Saints, as Doug Peterson said today, getting better and better, healthier and healthier. And it would be nice to see him establish himself, as I really believe this game, Fran, on Sunday will be a point-scored game. I think it's going to be very difficult, given the state of the Eagles' secondary, to consistently hold down the Eagle killer in his career, Larry Fitzgerald. DeAndre Hopkins, who has more than 90 receptions this year. Christian Kirk with his speed. A terrific pass-catching tight end. Jim Schwartz is going to have to come up with a great game plan. And that front four will have to continue to kick in the door and dominate.
I mean, they are going to be the difference makers for the Eagles defense. We say that almost every week, but in this week in particular, because of the injuries to the secondary, because of the way Arizona wants to be able to play football, the defensive line has got to be able to win some of these matchups. And I think when you look across that Arizona offensive line, look, they've got some guys with pedigree. I mean, Justin Pugh is a former second-round pick at left guard. DJ Humphrey is a former first-round pick at left tackle. They've got guys across the. Kelvin Beacham's been a starter in this league for a long time. He's at right tackle. So the Eagles have got to find ways to be able to create some havoc there in the backfield, not only to get Murray to the ground, but keep him contained. Don't let him beat you with his legs. Get outside the pocket.
And this is my point, Fran. I wrote about it yesterday, that ultimately, and I've lived through the Randall Cunningham and his mobility, and Donovan McNabb and his mobility, and Michael Vick and his mobility. It's great to be mobile, and you make a lot of big plays. But at the end of the day, you have to win from the pocket.
Yep.
And can Kyler Murray win from the pocket? Can Jalen Hurts win from the pocket? Defenses will ultimately figure you out.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things you see from quarterbacks all across the NFL, and it's going to be a huge, huge thing for both these guys to be able to do in this game.
And a cornerback who could play some very big role here, Michael Jacquet, who has been injured.
Yep.
Again, good to see him back on the field. We don't even know much about him. This is how raw this defensive secondary is. The injury situation has been unbelievable again this year. And on Sunday, it seemed like in the second half, defensive players strewn all over this Lincoln Financial Field turf.
I mean, that's what, when you think about it, not only did the Eagles lose 3 of the 4 starters going into the game, but then they moved the 4th starter from safety to corner. So you're literally playing with 4 new pieces on the back end by the time you got to, the midway through the third quarter this past Sunday against New Orleans. So a big test, going into this week against a pass-happy Arizona Cardinals offense.
So I wonder, does Jalen Mills move to cornerback? Does he stay at safety? Do the Eagles give Epps and Wallace the starting roles in the safety spots with Rodney McLeod out? That leadership void will be tested quite a bit, as I would imagine the Cardinals will try to attack the middle of the field, down the seams, throw it deep, and really force those cornerbacks and safeties to have just picture-perfect communication. And that's what it's going to come down to, not only the physical challenge, but the mental challenge of staying on the same page, as the Cardinals will try to give some confusing looks, I am sure, to players like Kevon Seymour, who's been with the Eagles since December 2nd. Played his first game since 2018 on Sunday against the Saints.
You got a bunch of young players back there now. I mean, you're talking about Kayvon Wallace. You're talking about Marcus Epps. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys are deployed. And you also have the players that are coming back off the injury. You mentioned Jaquette. There's a couple guys on injured reserve in Cravon LeBlanc and with Craig James. What are those two statuses? It's certainly big to be able to watch moving forward.
And that will do it for today's practice coverage presented by DraftKings here at the NovaCare Complex. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. And we look forward to more from sunny Arizona on Sunday. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro along with Fran Duffy. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have yourselves a great Eagles day. And as always, fly, Eagles, fly.